Good day to you. My name is Maria Kondzielska and you are watching Poland Daily Culture. And today we combine three different places of the world because we are shooting here in Poland. But with us on Skype is Eric Cohn from Michigan and from Acton Institute. Eric, again, thank you very much for calling.
Thank you so much for having me.
And our topic is the movie The Hong Konger, and actually a character or a person, Jimmy Lai, who is right now, as we are talking, he is in prison in Hong Kong, facing a trial, and unfortunately there are chances that he will face the life sentence, which is absolutely horrible. So, well, fingers crossed about the fact that there is any way of the pressure or influence on the Chinese government to make this sentence different, or like to make a different decision when it comes to Jimmy Lai. But so his story is incredible. A person who was very poor as a kid. Actually, this is this beautiful beginning when he was working at a train station in China and tasted chocolate. Yes, could you tell us about it?
Yeah, he was working to make some money at a train station in mainland China, and a businessman he helped with his bags for a tip gave him a chocolate bar. The first time he tasted anything like that, and wanted to know where it came from, where the man was from, and he said Hong Kong. And he's like, I've got to find some way to get there. So he, at 12 years old, is a stowaway on a boat, gets from mainland China to Hong Kong. Once he gets to Hong Kong, then he is able to really get a job working in a factory and start developing an entrepreneurial spirit that he uses to build multiple businesses, the most recent of which was Next Media and his newspaper, Apple Daily, which was a Chinese language pro-democracy newspaper that, as similar to the fate that's befallen Jimmy, the newspaper's been shut down by the Chinese Communist Party. That's the tragic part of the story. But Jimmy really personified what Hong Kong offered and the opportunity that it gave to so many people.
And he was one of this person who grabbed this opportunity, but also became very loyal to the place where he stayed, where he lived, and where he built those businesses. Because after all, Jimmy Lai could escape. He could go somewhere, anywhere else, and just sit with you right now there in Michigan or with us here in the studio without having this, facing this tragic future. But for us, the Poles, and for us Europeans from the Eastern Bloc, we of course have this experience of the Iron Curtain and being shut down from the world. And this is unfortunately something which might happen right now to Hong Kong as well.
Absolutely. You know, as I've taken this film around for the last more than a year, one of the things that I've said is, for good reasons and bad reasons in the United States, we've been a very inward-looking country for the last 7, 8, 9 years. I would like and I would hope that at different times we would be paying as much attention to what's happening in Hong Kong as we paid to what was happening in Eastern Europe under Soviet domination. I think it's a very important story, and I think it is one, or I hope that it is one, that more people will begin to pay attention to. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to make this film, The Hong Konger, is so more people could know Jimmy's story, know what's happening to the people of Hong Kong, and hopefully be moved to put pressure on their governments, on international organizations like the United Nations, to demand that Jimmy Lai be freed. People can learn more about the film and about what they can do at freejimmylai.com.
As I also understand, it's not only the Jimmy Lai's future, but there are many other people who face the same sentence or the same unfortunate imprisonment and consequences of his action, taking part in those massive protests which went through Hong Kong. And because they ended, the eyes of the world are not anymore there, but the process is continuing.
Absolutely. The national security law that is being used to prosecute and really persecute Jimmy Lai is being used against other people as well. I'm in daily violation of the national security law. If I were to ever visit Hong Kong or China, I could be arrested. That'll show you just how expansive and sweeping this national security law is. So, I mean, this is a real threat to the freedom and the human rights of the people of Hong Kong. And it's one of the reasons we felt it's so important to tell their story and Jimmy's story in particular.
Well, it's wonderful that you actually did it, that you managed to immortalize him in a way that we can see his courage and also his love to Hong Kong, because he has this huge love of freedom and being grateful for all the opportunities this place, Hong Kong, gave to him and to other people, so the whole society, because I would say this unity between them, and he as a billionaire just walking there on the street with a umbrella, being looked so different that the rich people, the so rich people that we used to here in Europe and US, like without security, without beautiful cars, without all this mask that usually people put on themselves, but trying to fight for freedom there on the street.
He wanted to march in front of all of these protests because he wanted the authorities to see him. He wanted them to see that he wasn't afraid of what they were threatening to do, which is what, to me, makes what he's doing right now so incredibly remarkable. The kind of bravery that it takes to know what your fate would be, which Jimmy had to know, that he was likely to be arrested. And if he was arrested and charged under this national security law, that he'd almost certainly be convicted. As you mentioned, he's a wealthy man. He could have gone anywhere he wanted. He could have gone to London. He could have gone to Taiwan. He could have come here to the United States. He chose to stay because he believes in these values and he believes in what the city of Hong Kong represents, which is what really compels him to stay and fight in the way that he did. And I find it incredibly inspiring.
Well, our prayers and the prayers of all the Christians all around the world, I hope, will be with him, and that he will also find a way out to freedom and out of the prison. So again, thank you very much for telling us the story, and to you, the viewers of Berlin Daily, again, we encourage you to see the movie and to share it also with your friends, and with so people are interested and they at least are aware of what's going on right now in Hong Kong. And again, thank you for watching our show.